prophetic words, I promise I will do so much more about prophetic words, because this has been the study of my life, really. I love the prophetic, and I want so very much for the prophetic words that we receive from the Lord directly, and the words that we have been given, and we cherish those words. I want them to be fulfilled. I don't want them to be something that you think about as wishful thinking, but I want to give you strategy and a way forward to see those words fulfilled, because that is God's desire. He is not just telling you something that will make you want something that is unattainable. That is not the nature of God. But I do remember being when I was very young, and I had lots of prophetic words that had been spoken over me. I had lots of things that I knew in my heart God had called me to do, but I just really didn't see any movement forward with them. And I didn't understand. I mean, I was so green that I didn't understand that if I received a word or heard a word, that I would not see it in a very short period of time. I mean, like a week, 2 weeks. That's just how I didn't have any understanding. So truthfully, when I didn't see these things happening, then I just began to start a conversation with God. I started to dig into the Word. I started to listen to people that I thought were higher than me, and learn from them. I began what started as a little bit of unrest and discontentment in things really spurred on my journey of learning about the prophetic and becoming a person that literally did not have much in the fruit of the spirit of patience to begin to understand and grow in the fruit of the spirit of patience and diligence and understanding. And when God told me he was taking me into a season of endurance, I was not happy, but I'm telling you, that endurance season brought forth much fruit of understanding the prophetic. This very brief moment, and I promise on this channel, we're going to do deep dives on this. I am getting ready to write a second book that is about stewarding the prophetic. And I want to take it from word to fulfillment, because that's what we all want to see. We want to see those things fulfilled in our lives, because that is who God has called us to be. It's our purpose. It is who we are at our core. So until we are walking into many of those prophetic words that God has given us, we feel a little unsatisfied, a little frustrated. And that's where I was when I began this study. And when it came down to it, I remember one of my aunts giving me this, not really a word from the Lord, but an observation of me. And she just said, well, I see these things happening someday, but I don't really see that happening right now, because, and she was very kind because she said we whenever she could have said you, but she said, we're just really not ready to see those things in our lives yet. Steve and I were pastoring a church at the time, and lots of big words God was giving me, but I didn't understand the difference between a really big picture word and that what it took to bring that word into our reality right now. That was simply the beginning. That was the big picture. How we were going to get there, we didn't know that yet. And my aunt was brave enough to just say, we're not there yet. I think there's a lot of more things that we need to learn. And she couldn't have been more right. But it really turned the light on for me, is that I thought, she's really right. As much as I didn't want to admit it, she was right on. I wasn't ready to do any of those things that I was prophesying about. I had not matured to where I needed to be to see those words fulfilled. So then it became the journey for me of, okay, God, you have said this. Let's see. I'm going to make sure I can see that. You said this way over here. But God, I'm way over here. So there's a big gap, and I kind of learned about the scripture that says about intercessors that we stand in the gap. Jesus definitely stands in the gap for us to get us there, but we have our part to play. And that is a big disconnect, I feel like, in most prophetic circles, is that our part to play to get us to this word can be quite extensive, because that word that I'm talking about and that my aunt spoke into and said, well, Lena, we got some growing to do. That was 20 years ago. But I've stewarded it, and I took serious what she said. And now some of the things that I'm saying right in this moment have come from that time with the Lord. There is so much that I could say, and I promise that I will. But I want to end this shorter segment with this, that our prophetic word is here. We're here. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. But we have a part to play in that word. We have God's divine direction to help us get to that fulfillment. And many times we would, in years past, I would wait. I would think about that I'm just supposed to basically sit around and wait for God to do everything. And it's just not so. I like to use the example that most people can understand, is that if God's called you to China, then maybe you need to learn to speak Chinese. It's kind of the same with everything. If God has called me here, then I need to learn what it takes to get here. Now, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, that it is such a hard road, that everything is a 20-year road, all of those things, because grace is also, it's favor, but it's also empowerment. And God can do in 5 minutes what might take me 5 years to do. But he also is working diligence in us as we prepare. So this is just a tiny little foundation of what I want to talk about on this channel in Prophetic. And it's going to be a breakdown of many, many different things that the Lord has shown me over the years. But just think of it like this, is that your word is a frame. It is the foundation. It is the very beginnings of what God is going to do. There are many steps before that building is actually completely finished. But God has promised us that he is faithful to complete everything that he starts. So I speak that to you right now, that though it may be just framed up, God will finish it, and he will partner with you to do so.